All right, the one thing I didn't do this year was celebrate my 2-year anniversary. I don't know, sometimes you get so caught up in the business instead of on the business that you just get busy. And I think I just got busy. But I want to say a special thank you to all my clients because you guys make me better. You truly make me better. I've been running Perspective Studio Productions for 2 years, and being a business owner is not that easy, but it's great. And I feel like my clients are a reflection of me. Over the past 2 years, I've learned so much from my clientele. I have great clients. As I watch, I get the honor, I get the honor to sit here and listen to stories. So many stories that my clients record for their audience. They talk about so many different things, and I'm definitely going to introduce you to my clients because I know you see clips on this page of what they produce, but I want you to really get to know them and get to know their show and get to know their brand because they're not just filming a podcast. They're doing so much more. And one thing they are doing is they are getting visible. They are building their business. They are building their brand. And it's a remarkable thing to be a part of. It's a remarkable thing to watch. And it's a remarkable journey for both of us. And the reason I say both of us is because, I just pulled this card and said, what makes you feel most connected to others? It's probably the help that I give them. Like, they come in here curious on whether or not they're ready to film content, curious on whether or not they want to produce, if they want to have a podcast. And I just help them produce their show. I don't know why this is so hard. It is not hard. I'm going to tell you this is not hard. Do not overthink. Sometimes I overthink. Sometimes my clients overthink and we work through it. I have clients that started and they have a business and they would not put a call to action to whatever they're doing. So I used to be on them. Sometimes I'm on them. I'm on all of them. I'm on most of them, not all of them. I want to see my clients win. And it is just remarkable what they're doing. They're putting themselves out here. They are being vulnerable. They're telling their story, and it's not always easy for them. Some clients, when they start out, actually in the beginning of this journey, of this 2-year journey, when clients would get on the mic, I found myself always telling them, go deeper into their story, like share more information. And it's okay to share, and it doesn't need to be perfect. If you work with me, the one thing you'll learn is I always say, I have one rule. Throw all the rules out the window. This is your show. This is your brand. You get to make it whatever you want to make it, outside of the lines, right? Because I clearly do not listen to the rules well. But, so why put all these restrictions on us when we're just trying to have a voice, when we just want to speak, when we just want to get something out? Sometimes it's hard enough to show up for yourself. So for me, I want the clients to feel proud that they've made it into the studio. I want them to feel proud that they are recording, whether they're with a guest or whether they're by themselves, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of courage. And what I did notice in the beginning, sometimes people will come in the studio and they feel a bit shy. Like they come in, they have all this personality, and then they sit down and they get behind the production of things. And, you feel a little intimidated, but we work with you to get your message out. What I really need to do is work with myself to get my own message out, because sometimes I'm in my own head. So I understand if there's someone resonating with you, it's me. It's me behind the camera. But I do want to say and celebrate 2 years with Perspective Studio Productions, because sometimes you start something and you don't know where it's going. You don't know you start something, you have a little bit of a vision and you grow with it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm growing with my vision. And I'm not always showing up confident. It's funny. I did a remarkable recording just a few days ago. And it wasn't in the studio. We also do like on location recordings. And so we did this recording, and I introduced myself to, the client and the folks that were with the client. And, I had a crew with me. And 5 minutes in, I had to introduce the crew to the clients, people them. And somebody in their people them said, "Oh, wow, you have completely changed from the person at the door like 2 minutes ago." And I was thinking, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're like day and night. You seem like a whole different person. And what it told me was that I don't always show up with confidence, right? And it's because you don't know when you're going into a new space, what it's going to be, what the people are going to be like, what the energy is going to be like in the room. And then sometimes it just takes time to warm up, to get yourself warmed up so that you can show up for yourself. And I probably was like that unconsciously within that moment or within those 2 minutes. And he called me out on it. And I love to reflect. Like I said, I overthink a lot of things. I psychoanalyze everything. And at least what I would consider psychoanalyzing. But it made me think I need to show up at the door how I am 2 minutes later, because I want people to see confidence every time they see me. Now, maybe it won't always happen, but it's okay. It's also okay. It's okay to warm up. But it's been 2 years, and it took me 2 years to warm up to who I am now. I am a very, very curious person, and with curiosity, I just kind of do things. I don't really have some things I plan and some things I don't plan. If it's like, I want to do this and that's what's going to happen, then that's what I do. And really, as long as you have some resources, you can make shit happen. And even when you don't have resources, and I'm talking money here, then you really just need to find other people that are aligned with your vision. And if the timing is right, it will happen. And so I just wanted to share a little bit because this is my 2-year anniversary. And if I'm being completely transparent, 2 months ago, I wasn't in the right mind space to even celebrate me. And that is a sad thing. But life happens. And at some point, you got to remember that you're winning. Even if you're in a season that does not feel like winning, there can be things that you can celebrate. And so I want to take a moment here to celebrate me and to celebrate the studio. And that's why I'm doing this recording. And this was an impromptu recording. I was actually recording something else. I'm using the teleprompter. I've had other people use the teleprompter in the studio, and I think I'm not using it right now, obviously, but I'm recording an ad. I've had other people use a teleprompter, and it's just interesting to see what people are doing in the studio. They're doing so much more than podcasts, but you know what they are doing when they are filming their podcast? Besides putting themselves out there, they are growing. I have clients that could never see how far they would come. Like, I don't even know if that's the right thing to say. Like, I have a client and we sat down a year ago. We've been rocking together for a year and a little bit. And we sat down, and I like to do this thing called like a discovery call with my clients, and some of them, not all of them. And we sit down and we look at like, what's on the roadmap? What are all the things that you want to achieve in your life? And it's crazy because I used to do that in a past life, right? Like, I was a product manager for many, many years. And, we would look at, what are we trying to build? What are we trying to achieve for the company? But really, that's what I'm doing with some of my clients, not all my clients, but some of my clients. What do you want to achieve? And so this client, we sat down and they said, I want this podcast. I want this podcast. They already have a community like online, but let's turn it into a community, an actual community that drives revenue, right? Like a business. And then let's work on some course content, because yes, they do in-person seminars, and maybe they've done a webinar or two, and maybe they have a huge following, but it's not all converting. And we sat down and we mapped out a plan. Let me tell you, this is one of the hardest working ladies that come in here and they just do the work. And it shows, because they never had a YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel is growing. It's banging. I'm not even that consistent with my YouTube channel. And this girl is out here in these YouTube streets. She's in these social media streets, and she's building her brand. Now, not only is she building her brand with her 2 shows, we did successfully record her 5-6 module course and put it online. And we sourced out, because I used to be in product, I'm really good at technology, sourced out what would be the best platform to put this on, and then look at like what's the appropriate pricing that's going to bring in that revenue to hit those targets that we talked about a year ago, right? So first we did the 2 shows, and we ran those 2 shows. She's very consistent. We actually talked about like the cadence of recording and the cadence of releasing, and all of that. All that shit got done. And from there, we took a break from recording because she has all this content, and worked on her course content. And then we worked on the community content, and then we worked on her website, and then we're getting ready to go back to the podcast. But she already had an audience, but to get it even more engaged, we went through that entire process. But before we did that, we sat down, we discussed it. You know what she recently got? Because she is showing up, her first brand deal. She gets invited to speak and to do talks all the time. She was always getting invited to do talks, but she's getting even more. So what we've really helped her do is get visibility for her brand. Now, she's not the only one. She's not the only one. And what we do enjoy doing is sitting down and going through creative ideas with our clientele. So it's not just sitting with you and talking about your podcast. We can do that if you already know what you want to do. But for some other clients, we might be talking about what creativity can we infuse into your brand? And that is what we did with her. We've done it with a few other clients, many other clients, and they're doing wonderful things. And we love to see it. We love to see it. So, this is 2 years of enabling creativity. And that was not always easy for me to even just like accept 2 years as an entrepreneur. When you've spent 20 years in a corporate environment, the biggest thing you need to shift is your mindset. And that has been probably one of the hardest things for me in this journey. And, it's something I'll talk about on a later date in another show or something. But I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate me. And I want you to take a moment to celebrate you. I want you to think about, what have you done for yourself? And this is something I've done for myself. And I'll tell you this. Sometimes we say, and I've been saying it for many years, is like, I prayed for this business. I prayed for this. And then sometimes when you pray for something, you manifest something and it comes to you. Here you go, boo. Work with that. You might get a few other things that make it a little messy at times. But you do need to make sure that you are prepared to receive it. And some of that preparation is just what's going on in your noggin, just preparation for your mindset. And that part is not always easy, because you will make space for new things. And making space means that you're probably going to lose other things. You're going to let go of other things. And honestly, for me, losing my job wasn't easy, but it was more grieving that part of my life, like that career. So, when you spend so much time building yourself up and even just getting the confidence to do certain things in a corporate space, which I did. It took me time to have confidence in that space, in that environment. As a woman, as a black woman, um, yeah, it took time to even just grieve everything I just built. But what I have to remember, what you need to remember if you go through anything like this is you take bits and pieces with you. So I can say probably in my second year of business, I was kind of going through like an identity crisis. And really, it's probably so much was going on that I really couldn't see, like, I know that we're winning and we have great clients and we have so many clients. And I'll actually tell you this, but I didn't always feel it. Let me finish that sentence. But I didn't always feel it. And people would say it to me, but I didn't always feel it. And it's a bit of insecurity that kind of prevents me from celebrating my own wins, right? So it's crazy because I would do something like remarkable and then like minutes later be like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Or I'd be like second guessing myself. Or actually I'd be thinking about all the things that I could have done better. That's what I would be thinking about. But I'm learning to be kinder to myself. And I am kind to myself. I actually speak to myself very sweetly. I call myself baby and I talk to myself all the time. So I'm not like critical on myself in that sense, but I might be critical of the work or critical of the things I could do better. So I will say to myself, okay, Simon, we got to do this. Okay, Simon, we got to do that, right? Or I could have done better. Oh man, I hope that client's not pissed at me. Or I'm just out here making people upset. I mean, you got to be a villain at some point for your growth. But, you know, you also just got to take a time to like recognize your wins, big wins and small wins, and not take away from those wins. Oh, and this is what I wanted to say before. At one point, I think last year, in September, August, I was saying to myself, like, I want to be so busy that I'm overwhelmed. Well, honey, not only did I get the business, but because I was requested to be so busy that I'm overwhelmed, I got that too. I manifested that too. That prayer came true too. So you really got to be careful what you say, because when it comes, it might hit, and it might hit you so hard it doesn't feel good. So now my dreams, aspirations, manifestations, and prayers, they look a little different. Definitely still want to be booked and busy because, of course, like who doesn't? But it's going to look a little different. So to myself, I just want to say happy 2-year anniversary. You're doing amazing. You have great clients. They're doing amazing. I am so proud of them. And with that, I'm proud of myself. And I just want you to take a moment to think about what's making you proud of yourself. And if you don't know, start writing down some things in a jar every time you write it down and put it in a jar every time you do something at the moment that you're proud of, so that when you forget how great you are, you can go back to that jar and pull out one of those little pieces of paper and remember to celebrate yourself. So happy 2-year anniversary to me. I don't have any cake, no cupcake. I'll tell you this, I have overthought recording this video that I wanted to get a cupcake like multiple times, but that's not important right now. The only thing that's important is that I do this video and I put it out and I say happy anniversary to Perspective Studio Productions, because we're out here winning, and we're winning in our own terms. And you know what? Sometimes when you're building, you don't know that people are watching. Like, people see you, but people be watching. They be watching. And I can tell you that because sometimes, even though they're quietly watching, quietly observing, they reach out every once in a while. And I've had that happen to me over the course of the last 2 years, multiple times. But even like in places where I am being very passive. And I can say I've probably been a passive business owner for the past 2 years. I do really well. I convert my clients' guests really well. And I just want to improve on the experience the best way that I can and build a team. And I have I have some things coming up that I'm excited for. So I do want to take a moment and say happy anniversary to me. My 2-year anniversary was actually, oh my goodness, almost 2 months ago. Almost 2 months ago. So, like, why not? Why not? So, happy anniversary to Perspective Studio Productions and to Shireen for building a business. And just keep at it, girly. And this is for when I look at my video again, and I reflect that I'm having a good time. And even though times can get very, very challenging as a business owner, I do recognize that I love being a business owner. So if there's something that you want to do out there, start it, just do it. And don't look back. And even though it can be challenging and it can feel lonely, not at times, almost all the time, still keep at it. And especially if it feels right. Because I've done other things, and even in challenges, people will tell you, why don't you pivot? I think you should pivot. Sure, at times you'll need to pivot if it's not the right thing. But if it is the right thing, what's for you is for you, and you'll still do amazing. All right, I'm out. And yeah, toodaloo.